Oh, mate, you got to feel for them Talk Sport lot, ain't ya? What on earth are they going to speak about tonight? They're going to, have to actually analyse the weekend's football and fixtures because the whole negative Chelsea spin, I don't think it's going to get you that many clicks tonight, mate, is it? Because that game had everything, and at one point it looked like it might become a Premier League classic, but due to the nature of the second half and just how good Chelsea were, it became a Premier League clinic. All week we have been saying that Enzo Maresca is ruthless, and all week I have been saying that I am very much here for it. But I tell you what, mate, Chelsea are also ruthless because we win 6-2 away, pulling off an absolute madness at the Molineux, and this smile will not be leaving my face for a good few days now, I'm telling you. Oh, and while I'm sticking the knife in, can I just remind you that according to Jamie Carragher, that, what you saw today, is not a young, exciting team. Oh dear, oh dear. Should we get into it? Let's get into it. But people, before we do all that, welcome back to the Joey Knight podcast. If you are new around here, if you like the content and you want to see more from myself, please hit the subscribe button right now. If you are not in high spirits, I do not know when you will be. So, to show the spirits we're in, everyone smash the like button. Let's get into the video. Right, so this is the team sheet that we saw Enzo Maresca go with against Wolves. Obviously, Jorgensen, who played through the week and had a good game, he came out. Robert Sanchez came back in. Malo Gusto over in the right-back position. He was actually the one that was inverting and joining in to that midfield. And actually, what we saw was a lot more in the same sort of mould as what we had seen from pre-season. Because a lot of the time, for me, it looked like it was Malo Gusto in midfield alongside Caicedo, and Enzo Fernandez was pushed further forward. Up there once again was Cole Palmer, and the man who I originally left out of my team sheet. I know I had an absolute howler in that one. I'm very, very sorry, and I'm very glad he played. He came away with a match ball. Noni Madueke was on the right-hand side. Nicholas Jackson through the middle, and then Mykhailo Mudryk was given another chance to impress. Not sure whether he did it or not over on that left-hand side. Now, this game could not have started any better for Chelsea. We got a corner early on with less than 2 minutes on the clock. You got Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer both stood over it, and I've already mentioned that since employing the Brentford, or former Brentford, set-piece specialist, we have levelled up massively from free kicks, from corners, from all set pieces, and this was no different. It's Cole Palmer that ends up whipping in the in-swinging free kick. It actually meets a Chelsea head. I think it was Fofana, but it just sort of glanced off him, you know. It might not have even touched his actual skull. It might have just been off of the hair. It ends up travelling to the back stick, and Nicholas Jackson is waiting there to head it in. 1-0, less than 2 minutes on the clock, and the perfect start at Molineux for Chelsea. However, this game was completely end-to-end at this point, you know, and this is why I said it had the potential to become one of the matches of the season. One team broke and the other team broke, and 26 minutes in, the worry that I spoke about in my pre-match preview really did come to fruition, because the battle in the middle is something I was very worried about in this Wolves game. I have watched them against Arsenal last week, and I thought that the way they battled in midfield against the team that finished second in the Premier League last season was really, really impressive. Moises Caicedo is dispossessed in the middle of the park. Wolves then drive forward, and the ball ends up inside the edge of the area at the feet of the Brazilian, their record signing Cunha, and he converts past Robert Sanchez to make it 1-1. And actually, after this point, it looked like Wolves were going to be the more likely team to score. They were piling the pressure on us, and especially through one of their players of the match, which was Lamina. He was having a really good first half at the time. He picks up the ball. He goes past Madueke. He goes past Caicedo. He then puts it on to the edge of the area, and a shot comes in, which is blocked by Levi Colwill. Now, the shot was definitely going to be on target. It was definitely going to test Robert Sanchez, but Levi Colwill's block tips the ball onto the crossbar. We really do get away with one there, and the warning signs are looking huge for Chelsea at that point. But just minutes after this one, against the run of play, Chelsea show for the first time in this game just how prolific we can be on the counter-attack. And Enzo Maresca's decision to start Robert Sanchez over Jorgensen, who impressed me in the week, is instantly vindicated. Right, people, I just want to quickly take this opportunity to tell you about new partners of the channel, Squawka. When you're in the YouTube industry like I am, there is a certain type of service that you could very much do with having on your side, and that is the service that stops you making blunders. And when I'm preparing for some of my videos, I use the website Squawka to use the player comparison matrix, and that helps me get a better understanding of comparing the players that I'm talking about. For example, a lot of you guys know that for every Chelsea game, I put out my preferred starting lineup, and I do look into the underlying numbers of the players I'm picking and the players that I'm comparing, and that's where Squawka comes in. They offer the best player comparison matrix on the internet. The website is so efficient and so easy that even I can use it. For example, when I'm picking from Chelsea's 30 to 40 odd wingers that we've got at the club, I can very easily jump onto Squawka and see how their stats compare. But you don't need to be a YouTuber to need to use Squawka. You could use it for your bets when you're betting on first goal scorer and things like that. It could give you a better indication. Or you could just use it to look like a genius down the pub, and we all like to do that, don't we? So thank you very much to Squawka for not only helping me prepare for my videos, but also partnering up with the channel. So help support me by supporting the guys that support the channel in Squawka. They are linked in the description for this video. Let's get back into it. This is exactly what I want to see from Robert Sanchez. He gets the ball for the goal kick. Straight away, he sees that there is an opportunity to play the ball over the top to Nicholas Jackson, who is already breaking on that back line, who are trying to retreat. He gets the ball perfect to Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson flicks on. It's with Cole Palmer. Jose Sarr is sprinting back towards goal, but Cole Palmer needs no second invitation. He lobs the goalkeeper and makes it 2-1 to Chelsea. In doing so, he silences some of the early season doubters and opens his account for the season. And by the way, that account's topped right up now because we'll continue to speak about Cole Palmer's contributions in this match. But in that moment in particular, we got to see just some of the best of this Chelsea side, what we can do when we're breaking on teams with speed. But within a matter of moments, we go from seeing some of Chelsea's strengths to some of our clear vulnerabilities when Wolves end up getting the ball in the back of the net once again and making it 2-2 before the break. This time it was through a set piece. It was whipped into the box. It was nodded back before being put away by Wolves' number 9, which was Strand Larsen, and the defending was hardly good here, man. When you see how many players in that Wolves side got goal side of the Chelsea players, it's a real cause for concern, and it was something that I felt would carry on into the second half at that point. And at half time, I've got to level with you lot and be completely honest. I don't know, man. I think maybe from the bad memories of last season, I wasn't really confident going into the second half. I was almost certain that we were going to see a sending off. We had a couple of players on bookings. There was warrant to have a fair few more players for both Wolves and Chelsea on bookings. And it was at boiling point inside Molineux. You know, you could literally hear the crowd coming through the TV. It was a very fiery match. And obviously, the second half early on last season was a period of the match that under Pochettino we always seem to get a little bit worse in, actually. And when the second half does begin, I'm not actually liking what I'm seeing early on. I saw Enzo Fernandez once again get the ball taken off of him in the middle of the park, and this is the problem with building up from the middle, right, and from the back. When you got the ball in the middle of the park, if you have not got the courage to be able to play something over the top like Enzo Fernandez did to Madueke through the week, and you're too scared to lose possession, you'll often hold on to the ball for too long. And against any Premier League team, especially a fiery one like Wolves, you will get punished for that sometimes. However, just seconds later, Chelsea get the ball forward It ends up at the feet of Cole Palmer, who is linking up so well with the wingers when he's playing in that 10 space. He moves it on to Noni Madueke, and this time Noni Madueke drives at the left back once again, and the left back opts to try and hold his nerve a little bit, because a couple of times in the first half when Madueke went towards him and cut inside, he was beat by Madueke. So this time he didn't want to let Madueke cut inside. Madueke didn't care. He takes the shot, it gets a deflection, it ends up in the back of the net. I am happy with that. 3-2 Chelsea, and once again, this game takes yet another crazy turn. And once we took that 1-goal lead, this Chelsea side looked completely different. We looked really confident. We looked like we had a spring in our step. And 57 minutes in, Noni Madueke scores his second goal of the game. To that point, his third goal in less than 90 minutes of football, when you include the goal that he scored after coming on off the bench against Servette. And I don't know, man. So happy to see Madueke playing today and just how well he played. When this goal was scored, there was the perfect example of the battle of midfield going right for Chelsea in this scenario, because Caicedo really has an option. Does he not go for the ball, or does he put his body and, more importantly and significantly, his head on the line? Because he is not favoured to get this ball that's bouncing around the middle of the park. He goes for it, he nods it on, it ends up at the feet of Cole Palmer. And when a ball ends up at the feet of Cole Palmer, you know what he's going to do. He's going to assist Noni, who's to the right-hand side of him. He puts Noni Madueke through, and once again, Noni Madueke drills it low past the goalkeeper to make it 4-2. And now the chances are just rolling in. It is goals galore for Chelsea if they want it, because they're creating so much and they're punishing Wolves for so many errors that we're forcing upon them. You know, Palmer, he tests Sarr once again, and literally moments after that, Enzo Fernandez, to give him his credit, he was actually pushed further forward. He was sort of in that floating 8 space, and he puts the Wolves defence under some serious pressure and manages to intercept the ball. He puts it straight onto Palmer. You know what happens. You know the pattern. Palmer puts it straight onto Madueke, and Madueke smashes home his third goal of the game. He picks up the ball and runs straight off with the match ball, because at that point he knows he's man of the match, and my God, what a player. Noni Madueke, apparently we've been looking at selling him. No chance. If Newcastle want him now, they got to pay 150 million, and I still wouldn't give him to him. Now, 77 minutes into the game, Wolves do pull one back to make it 5-3. They have a set piece whipped into the box. It's the defender Totti again who does the same thing, which is heads it back across the box. It must be something that Gary O'Neill's been working on with them in the training ground. And then the man I spoke about earlier, Lamine, absolutely puts his foot through it and smashes one in. At a glance, at first, you're looking at it and you're thinking, Robert Sanchez, you need to do better. But then when you saw it in the slow motion, you realise that just a matter of feet from Robert Sanchez, it deflects off Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall's shoulder. Ultimately, though, VAR step in, good old VAR, they step in and they rule out the goal. It chalks it off. It brings a huge smile to my face. And I tell you what else brings a huge smile to my face. João Felix being back in blue, and João Felix being back on the score sheet. Because seconds later, we do it again. We show again why we are one of the best counter-attacking teams in this entire league. Pedro Neto against his former club. He's breaking on him, getting it up the left wing. João Felix hanging back ever so slightly. Very, very clever. Arriving late. It comes to him. He smashes it home. I loved him the first time. I am going to love him even more the second time. It did not take long for the Portuguese-man to open back up the Chelsea goal-scoring account. And believe you me, that is the first of many. 6-2 Chelsea. It finishes. What a game. What a feeling for the Chelsea fans. This is exactly what we needed. And if this is an indication of what is to come from Enzo Maresca's Chelsea, we're in for an absolute treat this season, aren't we? I mean, look, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, But we got to wait until coming up towards the end of October until we actually play a team in the league now that we shouldn't really be beating. You know, when you look at the Premier League fixtures, we've got Palace at home, Bournemouth away, West Ham, Brighton, Nottingham Forest, which takes us all the way to the 19th of October. Then when we then take on Liverpool. What I'm saying here is if we can play the way we played in that second half today, we should be getting wins over all these boys. There's so much to now look forward to. Let's speak about some general points from this match. Now, I think despite a really, really positive result and a great feeling around the fixture, I do think that there are still a lot more questions rather than answers when it comes to how the team are going to play and the team selection, because there was multiple times during that game, you know, where I saw Nicholas Jackson being one of the widest players on the field. I saw Enzo Fernandez being one of the highest players on the field, and it sort of switched between him and Cole Palmer at points. And obviously I understand that in modern day football, having a fluid and interchangeable front line who can rotate during matches can be something that can completely throw defences on and not give them a chance to organise themselves or to set themselves. But at the same time, I think that we would be looking for some sort of stability, especially when we face the bigger teams. The Palmer and Madueke link up today was an absolute thing of beauty, and it goes to show why we need to make sure that these two boys are on the field at the same time at all times, in my opinion. Palmer played as a right winger last season, but he played as a number 10 today, and out of our 6 goals, he had 5 goal contributions, in my opinion. I know the corner had a little flick on, but that was more or less Palmer's goal contribution there, wasn't it? It was more or less his assist. He took the corner. The second goal he scores, then he sets up 3 in a row for Noni Madueke. This boy is absolutely electric. And as I say, if there was any early season doubters who were thinking, oh, okay, maybe he might find it a lot harder this time round, he's not going to find it harder. He's going to be just as good. But the boys around him are going to be even better. And speaking of even better, look at Noni Madueke. Noni Madueke, right? Similar age, come through to England under 18s, 21s, all that sort of setup, the same as Cole Palmer. And he must have been looking, a part of him must have been looking at Cole Palmer last season and thinking, I'm very happy for you. But at the same time, I'm a bit jealous because I believe I can do that. And I want a bit of that. I want to be in the contention for PFA Young Player of the Year come the end of this season. And I tell you what, he's got the confidence to do it. I very much think he's got the ability to do it. There is absolutely no circumstance that Noni Madueke should be anywhere near a transfer list now. And I understand that the board might have plans, but I don't care. I've got my plans, and my plans are to see Noni Madueke score about 25 goals this season. He's already in, listen, he's in the battle with Haaland, mate. Haaland might not be scared of Cucurella, but he needs to be scared of Noni Madueke now. And while we're giving out praise, you've got to give some to Enzo Maresca, man. Look at last season. Mauricio Pochettino had an awful trait last season, especially early on. It did sort of fix itself, or he fixed it come the end of the season, but every game we came out worse for the second half last season. And this second half, we were exquisite. We like prime Barcelona, mate. We were absolutely unreal in that second half. And you got to thank Enzo Maresca for that. Whatever he said to the boys, whatever he did, the tactical changes, the systematic changes that he made at halftime worked perfectly. One of those changes, by the way, was taking off Mykhailo Mudryk for Pedro Neto. And it really does have to ask you the question now, if we're going to have Noni Madueke over on the right, if we're going to have Cole Palmer in the 10, and if we're going to have Pedro Neto on the left, then you look at the backup options for those boys, right? And yeah, it's definitely worth keeping Mudryk around. I don't think, like, you know, some people are saying we should send him on a loan, but he's got to be third choice in there. And Felix, you could also play Felix out wide. I've got a feeling that we will see him more central as we did today. And how nice is it, by the way, to see 2 signings come in and play well straight away, to make an immediate impact, which is clearly what I think João Felix and Pedro Neto have now done. And what's the common denominator there? What is it? What is it? I think you can tell me what it is. Established players. proven players, not potential wonder kids. I understand the business strategy you're going with. You've got to sign a few of these, and fair play if you want to do it. But when you go and sign established players, they can come in, they can hit the ground running, they can make an immediate impact. So I really hope the board are looking at that and they're taking note of that there. Robert Sanchez, we spoke about the fact that most of us, including a lot of you guys, felt that Jorgensen should be in there ahead of him, but we got to give credit where credit's due. Robert Sanchez was good today, you know. He didn't actually make that many saves or anything unreal. He didn't make any saves you wouldn't expect him to make, as far as I can remember. I'm obviously quite high on that win, by the way, but his distribution was good. I didn't think he made any major errors, and there was a couple of times when he was doing the right thing with his distribution, which was setting us off on good counter-attacks. Now, teams will now come up against Chelsea, and they will learn a lot from Wolves today, and what they will learn is how you don't approach a match against Chelsea, because what Wolves tried to do was go toe-to-toe with us, and I just think with the quality we've got, the pace we've got, we are just too good a team to go toe-to-toe with like that. You need to sit in and defend and try and make us forced to unlock some sort of door to break you down and hope that we can't do it. But I tell you what, with the talent we've got now and the telepathy between some of these players, these boys that now link up and make for an actual team rather than 11 individuals, I think we will be able to unlock a lot of those defences. It might not always look pretty like it didn't against Servette. We might have to ride our luck at times, but we're here for the journey, people, and this feels good. I thought Viega looked good when he came on. Kieran Dewsbury Hall didn't really do anything wrong. I thought everyone was really decent today, you know. Even Caicedo, he had a bit of a stinker first half, but he made up for it in that second half. He went off injured, I think. Hopefully, it's not too bad, because you lot will have noticed that Romeo Lavia was not even included in the matchday squad today. Now, Enzo Maresca spoke about that and said that it was just a minor problem. Touch wood, it is just a minor problem, because I remember Kane Chukwuemeka was close to returning after he injured himself against West Ham, and then we heard of a minor problem, and that then kept him out for months and months and months again. So hopefully this thing with Romeo Lavia, we have cold water poured on it very soon. Hopefully he features against Servette. I don't like Enzo further forward as he was today. I do think he's deeper, and when he came deeper later on as the match went on, I thought that he made the game tick over well. But either way, the options are there. The options are limitless. We're going to have a lot of games. This just feels good today. Man of the match. Listen, Cole Palmer got 5 goal contributions, but you know I'm giving it to Noni Madueke. This boy is electric. And oh my God, what perfect timing, because did anyone see what he accidentally put up on his Instagram story? Oh, he was calling it a shithole up there. And then he goes and scores a hat-trick. Oh, that crowd must have hated him, man. They must have absolutely hated him. People, let me know your thoughts on the game. I'm so happy. I'm going to get this one out straight away. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Smash the like on the video if you're not already. And if you're not already, you need to subscribe. This is the place to be this season. And by the way, you see this bad boy? I've got a link in the description that will take you to the Chelsea Megastore. It will take you there through me. They'll know that I've sent you, and therefore it supports the channel. Not only that, it gets you 10% off your order. You can't get better than that. I'll see you all in the next one.